When you're ready, let's start our class today. We will start laying down. So come on over to your yoga mat whenever you're ready. Take some extra time grabbing props or whatever you need for your comfort. We'll start laying down, maybe in Shavasana, corpse pose, with your arms and legs outstretched, taking up as much room as you feel like taking up. You can always bend the knees and find constructive rest pose with your knees resting together at the center. You try a couple experiments with your arms and then settle in somewhere if you want. Maybe closing your eyes. Just start to tune into your own experience here. Maybe taking a couple sighing breaths if that also helps you feel settled. Noticing the temperature of your body, the temperature of the floor or the props beneath you. Noticing and scanning throughout your physical body, just seeing how things are. Are there any injuries you need to be mindful of today, or any especially any places that are needing some special attention at all? Noticing your level of energy, reflecting on how much energy that your day has required so far, and knowing that just the fact that you're here dedicating this time to your yoga practice, you've already achieved it. So there's no need to push your body too far today. You're even welcome to remain laying here. Um, you could mentally do our practice today, imagining each position if you want, or adjusting as you need. But for now, tuning into your breath. Let's see if we can enliven your breath, enliven your body. And that might mean something different to each of you, but just bringing a little more awareness to the ebb and flow of your breath, creating a sense of curiosity and purpose behind your breath. And then if you can recall any emotions that have been present throughout your day or even present right now. Just taking a well-rounded look at what you're dealing with, what you're feeling in the moment. Anything that came up, perhaps allowing that to inform your intention, your reason for practicing today, or you could also think of your intention as like a place you want your energy, this good energy or your love to flow out towards. Taking A few more breaths here in silence. I will stop talking here for a while so you can contemplate that intention and get into the rhythm, the flow of your breath. Relaxing your jaw, using even less effort through the rest of your body. The only effort here, or the most of the effort, is just expanding your breath, enlivening your breath, becoming more present in your body. I say that like it's an easy thing, but let's take 3 rounds of clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh through your mouth 3 times over. When you're ready, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe letting your head rock from side to side, maybe yawning or circling ankles and wrists. Maybe reaching your arms overhead for a long body stretch, straightening arms and legs. Ooh. Okay, and if you have any kind of pillows or props beneath you, maybe moving those to the side for now. Let's stand the feet up here, bending your knees. Arms will come down by our sides. We're just going to move the arms here first and foremost. So we'll just start lifting the arms up. Maybe wiggling your fingers. That always just makes things feel more fun to me. So maybe wiggling the fingers as your arms reach up and overhead any amount. Stop anytime it feels right. And then go ahead and let your arms come back down by your sides. I invite you to consider closing your eyes here and really focusing on where you're feeling the majority of like effort, and also where throughout your shoulders and your back you're feeling pressure. So it's possible when your arms go up and overhead, you'll be feeling it more in your upper shoulders. And when your arms start to come back down, maybe you feel this pressure down the spine. I even get like a sense of like heavierness in my pelvis. So just get curious what's all happening here. You can keep wiggling your fingers if you want. If you want, we can start to link or sync the breath up with the movement. Inhaling as the arms come up and overhead, giving plenty of space for the lungs. Exhaling as your arms come back down by your sides. Keep going a couple more times. Now we're going to change it up a little bit. Next time your arms are down on the floor by your sides. Now we're going to do like a snow angel type of move. So your arms will start to widen out to the sides and then up and overhead. And depending on your shoulders, you can keep your arms higher up off of the ground. It'll be a little less pressure there through the shoulders. through your shoulder joints. It's up to you. Maybe your shoulders feel good. Keeping your hands a little closer to the floor. Just start to see and try to be as honest as you can with yourself. We're just we're just snow angeling the arms up and then back down. We'll add on yet again, this time when your snow angel arms are up and overhead. This time we're just going to cactus or goalpost the arms, bending your elbows as close as you can in toward your sides. They don't have to touch your sides, just kind of down and then back up and out. So we're straightening the arms and then we're bending the elbows. Just checking some range of motion there. And then let your arms come down by your sides. Let's toe heel the feet out a little bit wider and then allow your knees to rock side to side, your shins moving in a windshield wiper-like motion. If you want, you could turn your gaze in the opposite direction that your knees are twisting, just to add a little more twist, a little more pizzazz. Side to side. Okay. Back to the center when you're ready. Let's get ready for a couple of rounds of breathing bridge. But grab a pillow or a block because we'll rest on the block at some point here too. So we'll press the hands down, tuck your shoulder blades in underneath your chest, tuck your tailbone under so your low back kind of flattens or presses into the mat a little bit more. And then with your inhale, pressing down as you lift the hip points high. And exhale, slowly coming back toward the floor. Trying to use our entire inhales to lift. And our entire exhales to lower. Might take a few rounds to kind of learn the length of the breath in and match it to the amount of lift you can get through the hips. Once you feel a little bit of warmth there through the low body, the thighs and the glutes, you decide when you are ready, and we'll slide that block or pillow beneath the sacrum, that very lowest part of the spine that connects to the pelvis. It could even feel like, like the back of your pelvis, and setting that down, that spot down on your block. If it's too pokey or you have hard blocks, if you have like wooden blocks or something, you could put a blanket on top. I would recommend starting on the lowest setting and just seeing if that's plenty for you here. If you want, it's a little less stable going up to the next height. There's just less space, of course, on the block to balance on. Trying to tuck your chin toward your chest a little bit and then feeling that length through the back of your neck. I'm feeling like my arms want to come out a little bit wider, but you might find another hand positioning to be more comfortable for you. I'm just going to rest here for a couple of breaths, a couple of moments. You start to feel like there's too much blood rushing to your head or anything like that, maybe coming down a step on your block or even down to the floor if you want to. And you're welcome to just stay right here. Otherwise, we'll add a little bit of a hip stretch. So if you're on a higher setting, come on down to the most supportive spot on your block, so the lowest setting, just so you don't have to worry about wobbling on off. Let's start to pull the right knee in toward the chest. Just get used to this spot, maybe adjusting where the block is as your knee comes in. Maybe staying here or experimenting with straightening or almost straightening that right leg up. Maybe bending and straightening a couple times through your right leg. It's good for our circulation. And then holding onto your thigh or holding onto your knee, we can start to straighten that left knee a little bit. You find the right spot for you. You could feel a nice amount of opening or stretch here through the left hip area, left hip flexors. And it might feel nice to keep that left heel like up off of the ground. It could feel nice to have your left foot touching the floor. So many variations on this. So keep exploring until it feels interesting and nice. You could kind of pulse and pull your knee a little closer and then let it go a little bit farther away. Or maybe wiggling your toes or pointing and flexing the ankles. This one just kind of unwinds over time, so we're in no rush. Getting more curious about our internal sensations. Getting used to accommodating ourselves in any way that feels right. And then bending that left knee, planting your left foot on the floor. Let go of your right knee, and your right foot can come back to the floor just for a moment, pausing. I feel like I have two completely separate legs right now. Well, of course I have two separate legs, but I mean, like my right leg feels so like light and airy, buoyant almost. My left leg just feels so like stagnant. So let's get on with it. Let's pull the left knee in, grabbing hold of your left knee or behind your thigh or wherever makes sense to you. Pausing there or bending and straightening your left knee a couple times. Adding on any other little organic movements. There was a time, maybe there still are classes that you go to with yoga classes that are some some that I've been to in my life are just so like do exactly what you're told to do in the perfect way and don't veer off path at all, but I'm encouraging you here to break those rules, do your thing, listen in anytime your body wants something. Okay. And then bending that left knee, we can start to straighten your right leg a little bit here. Doesn't have to be symmetrical to what happened on the other side with the other legs. So maybe straightening the right leg, maybe keeping your right knee a little more bent. Whenever you're feeling a nice amount of stretch there on the right hip, and the right hip flexors, kind of the front side of the hip, it might feel nice again to pull your left knee in a little closer and then let it go a little farther down. I'm finding that pulling the left knee in is really making my right leg come along with it, but it feels nice. So you do you. I'm a broken record, but I just feel so strongly about it. Okay. All right. When it feels about equal, let's pull the right knee up in as well. So both knees now are lifted. If you find that you're kind of scooted too far on the block, go ahead and adjust. We're just gonna pull the knees in and hold here for a second, or Bend and straighten the legs. I actually find that it's easier, instead of holding onto the leg, I find it easier to press pretty hard into the floor with my hands. Up to you. Pointing and flexing the toes and the ankles, moving in all directions here. And then lowering your legs down, picking up your pelvis just enough to slide that block out from underneath you, and then lower all the way down. And pull your knees in toward your chest once again here, and massage out that area that the block was under, circling or rocking and rolling a little bit there. And then taking a nice long body stretch, arms and legs, reaching and stretching in opposite directions. Option to interlace your fingers and then flip your palms away from your head, pressing your palms away from you. Nice little finger hand stretch. And banana pose, walking your heels over toward the right edge of the mat. Option to keep your hands in this interlaced position if you want, or release and grab hold of your left arm and then direct your upper body toward the right. Creating more space through that left side. Maybe even feeling as if you're breathing more into the left lung. Eventually switching sides, walking your heels over to the left, maybe giving your shoulders a little break here and releasing before finding that shape, banana pose toward the left. Breathing into that right lung, creating more space and length through the right side. And then we'll kind of come out of this. Turn right onto your stomach here. Crocodile pose. So stacking your hands or your fists or a block underneath your forehead. Let your head rest on top. Let your heels split out to the sides. And take a few diaphragmatic breaths here. Of course, the floor is kind of blocking the belly breathing movement. Perhaps you can feel your rib cage widening. Maybe you can even feel kind of a stretch in the lungs out through the low back area. Some people, including myself, like to say breathe all the way down to the sacrum. Again, enlivening your breath, enlivening your body. And then bringing your hands to either side of your chest. Press the tops of your feet down into the floor a lot. Maybe your knees kind of lighten up off of the floor. With your inhale, rise up to your baby cobra, just like halfway. And exhale, lower back down. Over the next 5 breaths, we'll continue exploring our baby cobra, inhaling and lifting, and exhaling and lowering, and considering that each breath we can lift to a different height. So maybe we start really low, or there's no particular order here, but just taking different variations. So maybe lifting just a little bit. One of these breaths, maybe lifting a little higher, or even to what you consider your max. And then making sure that we end on one with the least amount of effort. So maybe you don't even really lift your head a perceptible amount. And then lowering back down before pressing on up to tabletop. If you are concerned with the direction that you're facing, you could flip around if you're used to facing the other direction. Up to you. So fingertips spread out nice and wide, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. Inhale, cow pose, lowering your belly, lifting your gaze and tailbone. Exhale, cat, rounding up through your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone. Inhale to cow. Exhale, cat. Keep going for a few more rounds. All right, if you have blocks, we'll grab those and get ready for our first downward facing dog. Bringing your hands up on those blocks, curling your toes under. Let's inhale to cow pose first, curling your toes under. Exhale, downward dog. Keep breathing here in your downward dog, maybe pedaling your legs out, bending and straightening opposite knees. Maybe lifting up to your tippy toes and back down a couple times. Maybe you come forward to a high plank and then back to your downward dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, lower your knees, and we'll find child's pose. So maybe bringing your knees out wide and big toes touching behind you, sinking your seat toward your heels. Option to keep your hands up on your blocks if you want, or bring your hands back down to the floor. Another variation that I like, but maybe because I'm hypermobile, so if it doesn't come right away, it could just be because I'm hypermobile, but you can bring your blocks in a little bit closer, kind of in front of your shoulders, bringing your elbows to the blocks and your hands, your palms together. You can sink your chest down and then bring your thumbs toward your the small of your neck. Two more breaths. When you're ready, starting to rise back up, tabletop, curling your toes under and downward dog. Let's bring the left foot a little closer to the center of the mat. Go ahead and lift your right foot up behind you. It could just be a little bit where you could try to get your foot way up high. Option to bend your right knee and kind of open that right hip up toward the right side, circling your right foot, or maybe bending and straightening your right knee. And then stepping your right foot down toward the center of your mat, switching sides. That left leg can lift. Maybe circling or bending your knee, opening that left hip up, bending and straightening if you want. And then bringing the foot back down. Let's bend the knees, walk your hands to the back of your mat. We'll end up in a little frog squat at the back. Please feel free to come up a little higher if this doesn't feel good on your knees. Again, a hypermobile thing. I'm gonna grab my blocks, bring those a little closer, Have my hands up there at the highest setting. Let's just bend and straighten a couple times the legs, a little bit of a forward fold, and then back to a squat, puffing the chest up, looking forward. Go ahead and do that at your own pace a couple of times. Next time you're in a forward fold, let's hang out there for a moment, maybe shifting from side to side. Maybe experimenting with bringing your feet out a little wider. Maybe kind of shifting your hips to the left and then to the right, just playing a little bit here in this forward fold. Maybe nodding your head yes and shaking your head no. Come up to a halfway lift position, either with your hands on the blocks or your hands up on your thighs. Tuck your chin about halfway toward your chest so the back of your neck feels nice and long. Exhale, bend your knees, folding forward once more. Inhale and start to rise up. Take your time, coming all the way up to stand. Maybe walking your hands up your legs. Getting to the top. Let's get a little bit of a bounce going, maybe lifting and lowering your heels, or if it feels good to you to do a little bit of a hop or a jump. Maybe your arms get involved with it, or just shaking out. Oh, however you'd like. And here we are at the back of our mat. Let's flow through a couple little rounds here. Let's inhale, reaching the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up, reaching your hands high overhead. And exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press all the way up, reaching your hands high. Exhale, hands to heart center. You can take a pause here, take a moment, and then we will attempt to do it even a little bit faster. Again, enlivening our breath so it won't be those nice full inhales and exhales. Let's see if we can really kind of amp it up a little bit here. We'll just do 2 in a row, so you'll know the end is near. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do it again. Inhale, hands high. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Those half sun salutations are a nice way. Even like if you're at work, you don't have to be getting on the floor or anything. It's a nice way to just get your energy flowing. Let's add on just a little bit here. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time with our exhale, let's walk the hands out to our high plank. I'm taking my blocks with me. Inhale here. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest. Inhale, baby cobra. Let's stay lifted here for the exhale. 2 more breaths. We're inhaling and exhaling. 1 last breath in here. And breath out, lower down. Inhale, rise up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, sinking your seat toward your heels. Couple of breaths right here. Inhale, start to rise back up, tabletop, grabbing hold of the blocks. With an exhale, downward dog. Big breath in and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale, step just the right foot forward. We're staying up high here. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, open arm twist toward the right. You could bend your back knee a little bit more if that helps. It feels a little bit better to me. Inhale. Ooh, and exhale. We're balancing. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, warrior two. Spin that left heel down to the floor. Gaze beyond your right fingers. Inhale, pick up your toes, spread your toes out, spread your fingertips out. Exhale, grip the toes back into the floor. Inhale. And exhale, bring your hands back down to the floor and step your right foot back, downward dog. 3 big breaths, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one, let's sigh it out into the nose, out through your mouth. Inhale, bend both knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale, step just the left foot forward. I'm going to widen out this left foot. I'm toe heeling the left foot out wide for more balancing support today. Inhale, let's sweep the arms high, keeping a bend in that left knee. You can kind of play around again with how bent or straight the arms are. Right, breathing in to prepare. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Try to steady your breath. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath in and out. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, warrior two, spinning that right heel down to the mat now. And gazing beyond the left fingertips. Inhale, picking up your toes, spreading the fingers and toes out. Exhale, gripping back down into the floor. 1 more breath in. And exhale, bring your hands back to your blocks. This time, let's step the right foot to the top. Forward fold at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift here. And exhale, let's sink down to a seat. So come on down to the floor. Right away, heading to your back. Maybe a long body stretch if that feels right, or possibly just pulling your knees right in toward your chest. And again, massaging out your low back with a little bit of twisting, turning, circling of the knees. And a couple moments of twisting. We'll keep the knees lifted here. Let your arms come out wide for support. We're inhaling as we're lifting to the center as we are right now. And then exhale, start to lower your knees toward the right and gaze in the opposite direction, looking toward the left. Inhale, using the abdominal strength that you have, come back up to center. And exhale, lowering your knees to the left, gazing toward the right. Inhales have you coming back up to the center, and exhales have you twisting. Go ahead and do that a couple more times. Feel free to spend more than just part of a breath on each side. Since we started with the knees twisting toward the right, we'll even things out by ending with a little twist with the knees toward the left. And back up to center. If there are any last movements, poses, or stretches that your body wants or needs, now is a great time to find those or move through those. And as soon as you are ready to rest here at the end, go ahead, set up a comfortable position. I might invite you to try legs up the wall today if you want. Otherwise, Shavasana or constructive rest pose like we started class in, of course, are great options. Otherwise, getting one hip as close as you can to the wall or a closed door, and then leaning back as your legs go up. And if you have high blood pressure or macular degeneration or anything where extra pressure in your head might not be the best, you can opt for a little bit of a gentler pose with your knees bent and your legs either up on a chair or even just up on the wall, but in a bent position. Otherwise, maybe keeping your legs straight or slightly bent. And sometimes it really appears that the resting part of yoga can be the most needed, especially when you feel that you're too busy to rest. There's a quote, I can't remember who it's by, but it says, if you don't, or wait, I forget how it goes. It's something like, if you don't have time to meditate for 10 minutes each day, then you should meditate for 30 minutes each day, or something like that, where the busier you are, the more you really need to prioritize moments of rest, so that your body has time to metaphorically digest your experiences. Plenty of time for your muscles and tissues and joints to replenish. If your legs up the wall start to feel tingly or anything, you could bend your knees a bit more or opt for a different variation. Letting each exhale release some stagnant energy or something that you just need to move. Let your exhale be a tool and a resource for you. As well as your inhales. If your legs are up the wall, considering bending your knees. Now giving your legs a little chance to get some blood flowing back in. Remember, you're always welcome to rest longer. No need to move on too soon. But when you are ready, starting with a little bit more movement, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe pressing yourself away from the wall or turning onto either side and coming off of the wall. Eventually, finding the fetal position with your knees tucked in. Trying to be right here in this transitional pose for another full breath. And then pressing your way up to a comfortable seat. Let your arms help you, support you. Maybe you sit up against the wall so your spine feels supported. Let's join hands at heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and be free. And may our own thoughts, words, and actions contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Let's bring thumbs up to third eye center. And we'll seal our class in today with a little bow forward.